Hello, this is Vishal, and today I'll be talking about the income inequality, the wealth inequality, and moreover, I'll be talking about the divide between the rich and the poor, that is, the disparity between the rich and the poor, an average poor person and a rich poor, and an average rich person. So, say for example, two, three generations back, a common man, say for example, let's take the example of my grandfather. So, he would be privileged enough or wealthy enough to actually own a cycle, and his aspiration would be to own a car or a motorcycle, which would be owned by someone who is much more wealthier and much more privileged. And this was a goal, or this was a disparity that could have been crossed with a few years of savings, or trying to work hard and maybe getting better jobs. But fast forward to two, three generations today, and today for an normal individual, these aspirations look not only difficult to achieve in his lifetime, but this might take two or three lifetimes to even think about, given the current economic situations of the world and also the country. So I'll be talking about the causes of wealth and income inequality in a country like India, and a few historical reasons why this has happened, and this is happening at alarming rates, if not concerning, and how this can be hopefully reduced in the future. So, so we know for a fact that the top 1% of the population of India holds over 40% of the total wealth, and this is because post-industrialization, there was a lot of inherited wealth and access to financial assets, which helped the rich accumulate more wealth. I mean, in very simple terms, this only means that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And this also happens because even though India is increasingly an educated country, uh, education is uh, education is still a privilege, and the education to cross these barriers, say example, the education to get into the A leagues or to get into jobs that pay well, which can actually help you bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, are still very less. And another issue is that there are additional wage gap and employment issues. For example, workers and professionals earn significantly higher wages than unskilled laborers, and unskilled laborers have been earning almost the same for the last decade or so. Even when there is inflation, there are other costs. We were also hit by the pandemic, which affected different sections of the society disproportionately. A few of the reasons for the divide between the rich and the poor is unequal access to education and healthcare. And there is, I mean, India is largely still an agrarian economy, and the divide between agricultural and industrial economy, and also the tax system that is placed in place in India, highly favors the rich. And also, we know for a fact that a very small percent of the Indian population actually pays their taxes. So the various impacts of the rich poor disparity are that there is increased poverty. We are still trying to pull a large percent of the population out of poverty, and there is a social unrest between different classes of people, and there is angst amongst um the lower classes and the privileged affluent classes. And another very obvious impact of the wealth and income disparity between sections of the society is weakening of economic growth. Of course, if more people are earning more, the economic growth will be much more higher. And there is also poor health and nutrition, and also unequal political influence. In the recent decade or so, we have seen that how powerful industrialists and their families have higher bargaining power or higher lobbying with the incumbent Indian government. So I'll get to the solutions. So a few solutions to reduce or mitigate the economic disparity is to have progressive taxation, and which means that higher taxes on the wealthy can be used for public welfare programs, and also to strengthen education and skill development. Education in the sense that not just a very basic primary education, but also progressive education and higher education, which actually can get people into jobs and roles which can help in reducing the economic disparity. And another thing is to expand social welfare programs. For example, the UBI. this is very important. This is a very important topic to discuss because of the coming of automation and the AI wave. And one more another way to reduce this would be to create more jobs in the informal sectors and in the rural India. And in conclusion, I would say that the India's rich-poor divide is a major challenge that affects the society's stability and economic progression. And addressing this requires policy reforms both in the economic and social aspect, to have better taxation, to have improved public services, and it is also very imperative to note that while industrialization and economic progress in India has lifted millions out of poverty, a more inclusive growth model is necessary.